Hey, what's up you guys? Thank you for joining me. Today, I have a missing persons case that I feel is very solvable. And as always, I think it's really important to get the word out. So, we're going to be discussing the disappearance of Logan Schiendelman. Before we get started, do me a favor and subscribe. It's free, it only takes a second, and it really helps me continue to do these videos. Also, be sure to click the notification bell to keep up with all of my future uploads. Alright, let's get back to it. Logan Schiendelman was born to his mother Hannah on June 27, 1996. And he was born in Tumwater, Washington. I think it's important to note that Logan was multiracial because it does play into his story later. Logan's mother was African American and Caucasian, while his father was Saudi Arabian. Unfortunately, Logan's parents weren't as involved as they should have been. Logan's father was only in the country for a short period of time and returned to Saudi Arabia before Logan was born. Hannah had decided to attend art school in Olympia, so she asked her mother Jenny to take care of Logan and his older half-sister, Chloe. Jenny agreed and actually became their legal guardian. Logan seemed to thrive in Jenny's care. He attended Tumwater High School, where he was considered a model student. He got nearly perfect grades and was a star football player. He had a very outgoing, happy-go-lucky personality. And because of this, he was very well liked and had no trouble making friends. Like most people though, he really enjoyed his alone time. Specifically when he was listening to music or writing poetry. I think there was a lot more to Logan than people recognized. He had a lot of heart, and there were a lot of things that were troubling him just beneath the surface. Logan graduated Tumwater High School in 2015, and like most, this was a turning point in his life. So, the summer of 2015 kicked off, and although Logan was unsure what he wanted to do career-wise, he knew that he wanted to build a better life for himself. So, he applied to Eastern Washington University and was accepted. There were constant parties and celebration amongst Logan's friends. And Logan, being the social butterfly that he was invited to most, if not all, of those parties. And he did his best to attend every single one. Unfortunately, one of those parties seemingly changed the course of Logan's life and ultimately sent him on a downward spiral. During one particular party, a young woman began mocking Logan's ethnicity. She was slinging racial slurs in an attempt to make him feel bad about himself. That was bad enough in itself, but to make matters even worse, Logan's friends didn't even attempt to step in and stand up for him. I think some of them were even laughing at what the girl was saying. This upset him so bad that he had to call his grandma Jenny to come pick him up that night. Because he didn't feel his friends did anything to defend him, Logan began to distance himself and question their loyalty. And rightfully so. But like I said, this incident really triggered something inside of Logan in a big way. It seems like this was his first encounter with racism, and it made him question everything he thought he knew. He just felt kind of lost. I do want to mention, he lived in a primarily white area, and despite his mother being biracial, he grew up with Jenny, who was white, as well as his sister Chloe, who appeared to be white. He had never met his biological father, nor had he met his grandfather, who was obviously African American. He didn't really have anyone to turn to that he felt would understand what he was going through. He didn't have anyone that looked like him. Logan decided that it would be best if he get away from Tumwater and away from the people that hurt him so deeply. So rather than going to Eastern Washington University, he decided to attend Washington University, which was 300 miles away. Logan attended freshman year there, but really continued to struggle. He really had a hard time making friends there and began to isolate himself even further. Because of this, his grades began to slip, and Logan started to question if college was really the right place for him at that time. He left after attending just 1 year at Washington University and moved back home with Jenny and Chloe. When he got back home, Logan had a few odd jobs, one of them being on his great aunt and uncle's farm. things weren't necessarily smooth sailing when he returned home. He was still struggling with his identity, and to add to this, Chloe's boyfriend Jake and his children had moved in with them. Logan and Jake did not get along, and there was obviously some tension in the home. Logan tried to make some new friends and frequently began staying out late at night. When he was home, he would basically just stay in his bedroom on the internet all the time. Jenny claims he was becoming increasingly paranoid and blames it on him smoking marijuana. During this time, Logan actually began seeking answers to his heritage and found some of his family from his grandfather's side. He reached out to his great aunt on Facebook and eventually went on to meet some of his family. She would later go on to say that Logan told her that Jenny would be highly upset if she knew they were meeting him, though Jenny denies that to this day. She claims that he was always free to have a relationship with his other side of the family. Logan had also been asking Hannah about his biological father, and she says that she told him everything that she knew, which ultimately wasn't a lot because they never truly had a relationship. Okay, now that we have the backstory, let's go on to Logan's disappearance. On the morning of May 19th, 2016, around 7:45 in the morning, Jenny claimed she was up and getting ready for work. She saw Logan coming in from the garage, and of course she asked where he had been. He told her that he had been up all night driving around. He had been doing a lot of thinking, and that he actually had an epiphany about his life, and he really wanted to tell her about it. She told him that she had to leave for work, but they could discuss it that evening. Jenny then left for work, and that would be the last time that she would see or hear from Logan. So Jenny went through her day as usual. When she returned home, Logan wasn't there, which again wasn't abnormal. He never came home that evening, which really wasn't like him, but Jenny didn't think too much of it at the time, especially because he had been out late the night before driving around. The next morning, so on May 20th, Jenny decided to ping Logan's cell phone around 11 a.m. because he wasn't home. I'm not sure if she tried to call him prior, but I find it a little odd that she went straight to trying to locate his phone. I mean, he was 19 years old. Anyway, the AT&T locator indicated that the phone was on Boulevard Road in Olympia, which was only about 8 blocks away from Hannah's home. Jenny was relieved at the time because she thought that he was just visiting his mom. But little did she know, just 3 short hours later, Logan's car would be abandoned on the side of Interstate 5. And this is where things get really bizarre. Around 2 p.m., police received several 911 calls. People were reporting a black Chrysler Sebring drifting across multiple lanes of traffic between Tumwater and Maytown. What was especially bizarre about this, though, is that it appeared that nobody was actually driving the vehicle. The car had been left in neutral, and it veered across all 3 lanes of traffic into the center lane, only stopping when it struck a concrete barrier in the center median. There were several witnesses, one of them being a truck driver who claimed to see something very troubling. He stated that a white man with brown or red hair jumped out of the vehicle on the passenger side of Logan's car and began running into the woods that were located on the side of the interstate. Police arrived at the scene, and because of the truck driver's statement, they did a thorough search of the woods. Unfortunately, they did not find the person that the truck driver described, nor did they find Logan. In fact, they found absolutely no evidence at all. Weirdly, police called Baker Towing and requested the vehicle be towed. What's strange is despite the registration information being out in the open, the police did not contact the owner of the vehicle, which was Grandma Jenny. You'd think they'd try to press charges or try to pursue this in some way. But instead, it was towed to an impound lot, and supposedly anything in the vehicle was left undisturbed. I don't know. I understand that they needed a search warrant to search the car, but a personless vehicle that's swerving in and out of traffic isn't bizarre enough for probable cause? Why didn't they contact Jenny and follow up on this sooner? If they would have, maybe we would know where Logan is today. Anyway, Jenny became increasingly worried about Logan when she spoke with Hannah and determined that Logan had not stayed the night there. In fact, Hannah hadn't seen him at least a week or two prior, and Logan still hadn't returned home by May 22nd. This was completely out of character for him. At that time, Jenny decided to report him missing. She went to the Thurston County Sheriff's Office in Olympia. However, they were short-staffed and were closed at the time. She then decided to stop by the patrol office and the Tumwater Airport. However, the door was closed and locked. So she decided to give Logan one more day and planned to report him missing the following day. And she did just that. On Monday, May 23rd, Jenny was prepared and had all the information the police would need in order to attempt to track down Logan. When they ran the VIN number for his car, they discovered that it had already been impounded on Friday. And get this, they sent Jenny to Baker Towing to retrieve the vehicle. By that time, it had been sitting in the tow yard for almost 4 days. Jenny found Logan's wallet, driver's license, debit card, $25 in cash, his cell phone, his car keys, a water bottle Logan took to work with him, and snacks that he frequently purchased, still sitting in the grocery bag, in either the front seat or the front floorboard. There was a bit of conflicting information, so I wasn't able to determine exactly where the bag was. When she found that his cell phone was still in the vehicle, Jenny saw this as a serious red flag. Logan was always on his phone. He refused to go anywhere without it. Jenny then contacted the police department again to express her concern. It was only then that they decided to go to her home to fingerprint and photograph Logan's car. Police began to take Logan's case seriously and began working it despite having little information to go off of. They found another witness that saw Logan's car pulling on the right shoulder of I-5. At that time, they claimed a white man that was about 6 feet tall moved into the passenger seat, got out of the vehicle, and began running towards the woods. Obviously, this description does not match Logan. Police decided to pull Logan's phone records and found some really weird information. Logan's phone had pinged about 2 hours away in the Portland area for about 45 minutes before heading back north on I-5 toward Tumwater around 3 a.m. on the morning of May 20th. And all phone activity stopped around 3:45 a.m. when Logan's phone had either powered down or the battery died. Police also recovered Logan's laptop. He had primarily been spending his free time talking to a woman from Oregon that he met through a dating app. But police seemed to determine that she had no involvement in his disappearance. Police decided to deploy tracker and cadaver dogs in the immediate area where Logan's car was abandoned. However, yet again, they found nothing. They even took it a step further and used a helicopter with thermal cameras directly above that immediate area, just in case Logan or someone else ran into the woods and got lost. But again, the search turned up nothing. The evening of May 23rd, so the day that Jenny reported Logan missing, police received yet another bizarre 911 call. A woman stated that she saw an African-American male teenager running around naked from the waist down. The description matched Logan's, and police immediately took tracker dogs and searched the area. But unfortunately, the dogs were unable to track Logan's scent. Police began questioning everyone that Logan knew, including his closest friends and family, especially Chloe's boyfriend, Jake. But unfortunately, this is pretty much where the case goes cold. No one has seen or heard from Logan since the morning of May 19th, 2016. 1 week after his disappearance, Logan checked into the Olympia airport on Facebook. Police obviously followed up on this, however, determined that this was actually a memory from the year prior. Just a weird coincidence, in my opinion. In October 2016, police spoke with Jake once again after he was arrested for a parole violation. They believed he could have something to do with Logan's disappearance, especially given his violent past. However, Jake agreed to take a polygraph test and passed. However, police have not ruled him out yet, though they haven't named him as a person of interest either. Around the 1-year anniversary of Logan's disappearance, news media started to pick up on his story again. Because of this, tons of tips started pouring in. One in particular stood out to police. A woman called in and reported seeing Logan with 2 unknown white men by his car. which she saw parked on the right shoulder of I-5 near exit 95 heading southbound. This was on her way to work. On her way home from work, she passed the same location and saw the car again. Still parked in the same spot, only this time the hood was up. She described one of the men as being 6 feet tall, having a scrawny build, and thin, straight blonde hair and a bowl cut. He was wearing a tank top that was too small and jorts that were too short. The second man had shoulder-length blonde hair and was wearing a flannel shirt and jeans. She worked with a sketch artist and they did a composite for the first man, but she didn't get a good enough look at the second man. There have been no major developments and no suspects since then. Alright, now I want to get into theories. So apparently, police seem to think that Logan had a mental illness of some sort. They think he may have ran away on his own free will or possibly committed suicide. I've seen others speculate that he was involved with the wrong kind of people, that he owed people money for things, if you know what I mean. I think one common theory is that he ran away to find his father, or that he may have fell into the wrong company at the truck stop near where his car was abandoned. The theories and speculation go on and on and on, so I'm not going to go over all of them like I normally do. I don't want to take away from the fact that Logan is still missing. I just feel that spreading rumors and feeding into the speculation doesn't help solve his case. Whether he came into harm's way, harmed himself, or left on his own free will, his family would do anything to have him home. Or at the very least, know that he's safe. They deserve answers and the real truth. I have my own theories in this case, but I'm not comfortable sharing them. I don't think any of us have enough information to have a solid theory on this. So let's focus on the important part. Let's spread the message. If you're inclined, share my video. Let's get Logan's story out there. If not, I totally understand. Share a picture of him. Go join his Facebook group. The name of it is Logan Schiendelman is Missing. It's run by his aunt and has over 13,000 members. I'll put the link in the description. Let's just spread the message instead of spreading rumors. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I think this case is very solvable. But we need to focus on facts and spreading the facts rather than spreading gossip. As always, thank you for watching. That's it for me today, guys. Remember the name, Kasey Shane. I'm out.